It began with a desperate gamble. For over a century, Earth had been sealed off from the rest of the galaxy, a world marked as a death zone by the Galactic Concord. The alien virus that ravaged humanity had become legend, the tale of a once great civilization reduced to savagery. The quarantine, enforced by automated satellites and a blockade of dormant warships, was supposedly impenetrable. Supposedly. Deep within the ruins of what was once New York City, a team of enhanced humans prepared to shatter that illusion. They were known as the Reclaimers, warriors, scientists, and engineers who had dedicated their lives to one mission: breaking free from Earth's chains and exacting vengeance on those who had abandoned them. At the center of the operation was Commander Alara Drayton, her eyes glowing faintly with the bioluminescence that marked her as a survivor of the viral mutations. She gazed at the ancient holomap, displaying the blockade that loomed just beyond Earth's orbit. "All systems green," reported Tarek, her second-in-command, his voice steady. He was one of the strongest telekinetics in the Reclaimers, and even now, small debris floated around him, reacting unconsciously to his focus. "We're ready to move." The Reclaimers had salvaged what they could from the wreckage of fallen ships and reverse-engineered ancient technology, creating a makeshift vessel that was as much a weapon as it was a spacecraft. The Resolute was a sleek, predatory ship built for speed and stealth. Its hull shimmered with a cloaking field, crafted from a fusion of old Concorde tech and alien designs acquired through more than a century of scavenging and ingenuity. "Then let's get this done," Alara said, her voice cold with determination. "They left us to rot, but we'll show them we didn't die quietly." As the Resolute ascended into the black sky, the automated defense grid sprang to life. Beams of plasma lanced toward the ship, and ancient cannons sputtered to life, tracking the vessel's erratic path. Tarek's mind flared with concentration as he reached out with his telekinetic abilities, bending the trajectory of incoming fire away from the ship. Alara barked orders to the crew, guiding them through evasive maneuvers while the ship's weapons tore through the blockade's outer defenses. Just when it seemed like the escape was within reach, an enormous Concorde warship, dormant for decades, awoke. The ship's gargantuan form eclipsed the stars, and its weapon systems powered up, targeting the Resolute with lethal precision. Alara felt a chill run through her as the odds shifted dramatically against them. But then, with a surge of adrenaline, she activated the Resolute's secret weapon, a quantum displacement drive, a piece of technology that should not have existed on a forsaken planet. The warship's energy beams converged on the Resolute but in an instant, the Reclaimers vanished from Earth's orbit. They reappeared in the void beyond the blockade, streaking into deep space. Moments later, Alara sent the transmission that would change the course of history. The message was simple yet defiant. To the Galactic Concord, Earth is not dead. We are coming. The Resolute slipped into a dark region of space where no starlight reached. This was the graveyard, a forgotten asteroid belt filled with the wreckage of derelict ships and the remnants of old battles fought and lost. But hidden within the debris was something far more formidable than mere wrecks, an armada of warships built and retrofitted in secret over the decades. They called it the Ghost Fleet. The Ghost Fleet was humanity's last and most dangerous secret, forged in the silence of space while the galaxy believed them to be on the brink of extinction. Hundreds of ships, each constructed with salvaged alien technology and cutting-edge human innovation, floated silently in formation. Their hulls were coated with stealth materials, and their engines could run cold, making them nearly invisible to standard scans. The fleet was designed for one purpose: revenge against the Galactic Concord. Alara stepped onto the bridge of the Resolute as it docked with the flagship of the fleet, the Exodus *. The ship was the largest and most advanced in the Armada, a sleek beast bristling with weaponry and shielded by a hull of dark alloy. As she entered the command deck, the crew turned to face her. The air buzzed with anticipation. The recent escape from Earth had sparked a fire of hope and anger among them. "Bring the Ghost Fleet online," Alara commanded, her voice cutting through the tension like a blade. "We make our first move tonight." With a hum of power, the Ghost Fleet came to life, engines igniting and weapon systems powering up. The Exodus led the fleet, and the Armada began to move through the graveyard's asteroid field with practiced ease. Their target lay just beyond, an old Concord research outpost orbiting a gas giant named Phalos VII. The outpost had once been used to study humanity during the early years of the quarantine, and now it held valuable data about Concord fleet movements and military technologies. As the Ghost Fleet approached the outpost, the Concord personnel stationed there remained blissfully unaware of the danger. The outpost's scanners, calibrated to detect known threats, did not register the presence of the cloaked fleet. The Reclaimers took advantage of the element of surprise, launching a coordinated attack the moment they exited the asteroid field. The first wave was swift and brutal. The Ghost Fleet's cannons tore through the station's shields with pinpoint accuracy, disabling key defenses before the Concorde could even issue a distress call. Alara led the boarding operation herself, storming into the outpost with a squad of heavily armed Reclaimers. They moved with deadly efficiency, cutting through opposition and securing the station's data cores. In the heart of the outpost, Alara accessed the mainframe, her fingers flying over the console as she downloaded the intelligence. What she found went beyond tactical data. It contained records of the original quarantine order. The files revealed that Earth's abandonment wasn't just a safety precaution, it was a deliberate act to control humanity's future. Fearing the potential of humanity's evolving abilities, the Concorde's leaders had chosen to isolate and abandon Earth, ensuring that no other species could learn the truth. Alara's eyes narrowed as she transmitted the stolen data back to the fleet. The Reclaimers had found their justification for war. They wouldn't just break the quarantine, they would bring the entire Galactic Concord to its knees. Back in the heart of the Galactic Concord, the news of the attack on the Phalos VII outpost spread like wildfire. Initial disbelief quickly turned to panic as the Concorde's military command scrambled to understand how the supposedly forsaken planet had managed to launch a coordinated strike against one of their installations. Within the inner circles of the Concorde's leadership, whispers of dissent began to rise. On the lush, green planet of Varel, a vibrant world known for its diplomacy and trade, tensions simmered among the ruling council. Councillor Lyrael, a fierce advocate for Earth's reintegration, paced the marble halls of the Capitol building. Her dark skin glimmered in the light of the bioluminescent plants that lined the walls, and her sharp, calculating eyes held a fierce resolve. She had long argued that the quarantine was a grave mistake, but her warnings had fallen on deaf ears until now. "We must act decisively," she urged her fellow councillors, gathered around a holographic display of the galaxy. "If the Reclaimers can launch an attack like that, what's stopping them from coming for us next? They're not just humans anymore, they're a new threat." A councillor with a silver streak in his hair scoffed. "And what do you propose? We send our fleets to crush them?" "We abandoned them for a reason, Lyrael. They were a dying species, and now they have risen from their graves." "Exactly," Lyrael shot back. "We underestimated them, and that has cost us dearly. They forged a new path, and if we don't acknowledge their power, we risk losing everything." Meanwhile, aboard the Exodus, Alara sat in the command center, her fingers trembling slightly as she reviewed the stolen data. The files revealed something that would change everything. A list of secret Concord programs aimed at controlling or eradicating emerging threats, including a covert operation called Project Harbinger, designed to subdue any species showing signs of rapid evolution or advancement. Earth had not been abandoned out of fear, but rather out of greed, a desire to keep its potential harnessed and contained. With this knowledge in hand, Alara decided to act. She sent out encrypted messages to discontented factions within the Concord, reaching out to those who believed in equality among species and were horrified by the recent developments. Her message was clear: humanity was back, and it was time to dismantle the oppressive regime that had cast them aside. As the Reclaimers engaged in guerrilla tactics across multiple systems, they targeted Concord outposts known to harbor sympathetic factions. Each success galvanized the rebels, bringing more allies to their cause. They were not alone. Growing numbers of various species began to rise in solidarity, inspired by the audacity of the Forsaken. Back on Virel, Lyrel found herself at a crossroads. She received an encrypted message from Alara, inviting her to join forces with the Reclaimers. The proposal was not without risk, but Lyrel knew she could not stand by while the Concord threatened to repeat the same mistakes of the past. In a clandestine meeting beneath the bioluminescent canopy of Virel's sacred forest, Lyrel met with a representative of the Reclaimers. "We're ready to ally with you," she stated, her voice steady. "But we need proof. Show us the strength of your resolve, and we will bring this message to the Council. Together, we can dismantle the Concord's oppressive grip." The two shook hands, a silent agreement sealed in the depths of a once quiet forest, now the cradle of a burgeoning rebellion. The tides were shifting, and the galaxy would soon know the power of the Forsaken, united with newfound allies ready to challenge an empire that had long considered them nothing more than a forgotten footnote in history. The tide of rebellion surged through the galaxy as Alara Drayton and her Reclaimers expanded their reach. With each successful operation, more species rallied to their cause, fed up with the tyranny of the Galactic Concord. Yet amid this growth lay an undeniable threat: the mercenary group known as the Void Reapers. Renowned for their ruthlessness and cunning, they were the wild card in the equation, and Alara knew that if they chose to hunt the Reclaimers, it would spell disaster. In the dimly lit war room aboard the Exodus Asterisk, Alara convened her senior commanders, the atmosphere thick with tension. "We cannot ignore the Void Reapers," she began, her voice steady. "They've been hired to root us out. We need to turn this threat into an opportunity." "Opportunity?" Tarek, her second in command, raised an eyebrow. "They're mercenaries, Alara. They only care about the highest bidder. Convincing them to join our side will take more than just words." Alara nodded, acknowledging the challenge ahead. "I know. But what if we could offer them something they desire, something that could tip the balance of power in their favor?" As they strategized, Alara recalled the information they'd acquired from the Phalos VI outpost. The Concord had been experimenting with genetic modifications on captured humans, seeking to harness their evolved abilities for their own military applications. The Void Reapers had their own dark history with these modifications, having lost many members to Concord operations gone awry. Perhaps this shared animosity could serve as common ground. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the Void Reapers convened in their hidden fortress on the harsh world of Narnock, a desolate planet known for its merciless storms and treacherous terrain. The leader of the Reapers, a formidable figure known as Rax Turgan, stood at the head of a circular table where his most trusted lieutenants gathered. Tall and imposing, with scars etched across his face, Rax exuded an aura of menace. "We've lost too many to the Reclaimers," Rax said, his voice a low growl. "They're proving to be a thorn in our side, and we must crush them before they gain more ground." A lieutenant named Sarek, with a reputation for his underhanded tactics, smirked. "I've heard whispers that the Reclaimers are looking to make a deal. They're desperate enough to offer us something we can't refuse." "Desperate or not, they're still humans," Rax replied, disdain evident in his tone. "What do they think they can offer us?" Just then, Alara's envoy arrived, a small but confident figure stepping forward. "I come from the Reclaimers. with a proposition for you, Rax Turgan. Intrigued, Rax motioned for silence, leaning forward. Go on. We know you've lost many to the Concord's experiments, the envoy began, their voice steady. And we have information that could change everything. Join forces with us. Help us dismantle the Concord's grip, and in return, we'll share access to the genetic enhancements that can make your fighters stronger than ever. The room fell silent as the lieutenants exchanged wary glances. Rax studied the envoy, his eyes narrowing. And why would I trust you? Because if you don't, the Concord will come for you next. They see you as a threat, just as they saw us. This is a chance to unite against a common enemy, the envoy replied, their conviction unwavering. Rax pondered the offer, his mind racing through the implications. If the Reclaimers were telling the truth, their alliance could shift the balance of power in the galaxy. Very well, but know this, if you betray us, there will be nowhere to hide. The Void Reapers do not forgive. With the terms set, the Reclaimers and Void Reapers entered into a deadly bargain. Alara's plan had taken shape, one that could harness the combined might of two factions united by vengeance. As the galaxy braced for the ensuing storm, both sides prepared for the inevitable clash against the Galactic Concord, ready to unleash their fury upon those who had long cast them aside. The alliance between the Reclaimers and the Void Reapers sent shockwaves through the Galactic Concord. Reports flooded in of insurgent attacks on Concord outposts and supply lines, and soon it became clear that the newly formed coalition was a formidable force. Alara Drayton stood on the command deck of the Exodus *, staring out at the vastness of space, knowing that the moment they had prepared for was finally upon them. Coordinates set for the core worlds, Tarek announced, his eyes reflecting the urgency of the situation. If we hit them hard enough, we can destabilize their command structure before they have a chance to regroup. Alara nodded, her expression steely. We have to strike fast and decisively. The Concord's leadership is at the heart of their power. If we can disrupt their command, we can turn the tide of this war. With a sense of purpose, the Ghost Fleet moved into position, their ships blending seamlessly into the darkness of space. Alara's heart raced as she recalled the countless hours spent strategizing, training, and preparing for this moment. The time had come to unleash the fury of the Forsaken upon the very heart of the Concord. As the fleet emerged from the shadows, the core worlds glimmered in the distance. The planets were bustling centers of commerce and politics, surrounded by the heavy defenses of the Concord. But the Reclaimers had planned for this. Alara had arranged for a two-pronged assault. While the main fleet drew attention, a covert team would infiltrate the Concord's command center on the planet Trivara. Now, Alara commanded and the Ghost Fleet erupted into action. Cannons fired, unleashing a torrent of energy against the unsuspecting Concord ships. The Reclaimer ships danced through the fray, utilizing their stealth technology and agility to outmaneuver the heavier Concord vessels. Explosions lit up the void, painting a chaotic canvas of war. On the surface of Trivara, a squad of elite Reclaimers slipped through the shadows, their advanced cloaking technology rendering them nearly invisible. They moved with precision, each step calculated to avoid detection as they approached the command center. Alara had sent her most skilled operatives, knowing that this was the key to the operation. Inside the command center, alarms blared as the chaos outside escalated. Officers scrambled to respond, their faces pale with panic as they realized they were under attack from an unexpected force. They had thought Earth a forgotten memory, not a rising tide of vengeance. The Reclaimers breached the command center's defenses, engaging in a brutal firefight. As they fought their way through, the squad reached the central command room. Alara's hand hovered over the console as she accessed the Concord's communications. With a swift motion, she initiated a broadcast to the entire fleet. This is Alara Drayton, commander of the Forsaken. Your leaders have betrayed you. abandoning Earth and dooming countless lives for their own gain. Stand with us, and we will dismantle this oppressive regime together. As Alara's words echoed across the core worlds, the tide began to shift. Many soldiers, struggling to reconcile their loyalty to the Concord with the truth of its failures, hesitated. Confusion spread among the ranks as they processed the implications of Alara's message. In the void of space, the Ghost Fleet pressed their advantage. The coordination between the Reclaimers and the Void Reapers proved to be devastatingly effective. They exploited weaknesses in the Concord's defenses, striking with surgical precision. But just as victory seemed within reach, a squadron of Concord reinforcements emerged from hyperspace, led by a warship adorned with the insignia of the Council, a symbol of authority and fear. Commander Iris Callan, a ruthless tactician and a veteran of the Concord's military campaigns, stood at the helm, determined to crush this rebellion. "This ends now," she declared, her voice resonating with authority as she deployed her forces. The tide of battle had turned once more, but Alara felt a surge of defiance. With the heart of the rebellion pounding in her chest, she rallied her forces, ready to embrace the chaos that lay ahead. The battle for the core worlds was just beginning, and humanity's fate hung in the balance. The clash between the forces of the Forsaken and the Galactic Concord erupted into a chaotic maelstrom of fire and fury, echoing through the cosmos. Alara Drayton stood at the forefront, her heart pounding with adrenaline as the weight of the galaxy seemed to rest upon her shoulders. The confrontation with Commander Iris Callan was inevitable. She was determined to end the struggle once and for all. From her command position aboard the Exodus Asterisk, Alara observed the unfolding chaos. The Concord's reinforcements bore down on them, a wall of ships bristling with weaponry. But the Reclaimers and their newfound allies, the Void Reapers, were relentless. They maneuvered through the melee with agility, their stealth technology allowing them to strike swiftly and fade back into the shadows. "Bring us closer to Callan's flagship," Alara commanded, her voice steady despite the turmoil surrounding them. Tarek, sitting beside her, manipulated the controls with precision, guiding the Exodus Asterisk into the heart of the battle. In the midst of the onslaught, Alara initiated a direct link to her squad, infiltrating the command center on Trevara. "We're running out of time. You need to secure the central communications and cut off their reinforcements." "On it, Commander," came the response from her lead operative, a fierce warrior named Jax. With their resolve hardened, the Reclaimers charged deeper into the command center, determined to disrupt the Concord's lines of command. As the battle raged on, the Exodus Asterisk closed the distance to Callan's flagship, the Invictus Asterisk. Alara could see the fierce commander on the view screen, her piercing gaze filled with contempt. "You think you can defy the Concord, Drayton?" Callan's voice rang out, dripping with disdain. "You are but a relic of a dead world." Alara's lips curled into a defiant smile. "You may think you've buried us, Callan, but we rise anew. You will face the consequences of your choices." With a swift command, the Exodus Asterisk unleashed its weapons, striking the Invictus Asterisk with a volley of plasma blasts that rattled the flagship's hull. Alara felt the exhilaration of battle course through her, urging her forward as her crew rallied around her. Just then, a transmission crackled to life from the surface of Trevara. "Commander, we've hacked into the Concord's communication network. We're broadcasting your message across the core worlds." Jax's voice was laced with urgency. "Let everyone hear it," Alara shouted, her voice resolute. "We are the Forsaken. We have endured and evolved, and we will not be silenced any longer." With her words echoing throughout the galaxy, Alara's forces pushed forward, pressing the advantage as the Concord's ranks faltered. Soldiers began to lower their weapons, uncertainty rippling through the enemy lines. It was a moment of reckoning, and many began to question their allegiance. But Callan, seeing the tide turning, unleashed her fury. "Rally! Show them what it means to defy the Concord," she roared, urging her troops to fight harder. The sound of her voice galvanized the remnants of her forces, and they surged forward to engage the Reclaimers in a desperate last stand. Amid the chaos, Alara's eyes caught the glint of something moving. Jax and his team were nearing the command terminal, their movements a blur as they fought past the last line of defenders. "We're almost there," Jax shouted, adrenaline fueling their every action. With a final push, they breached the central terminal and activated the override protocols. The communication grid went live, broadcasting Alara's voice once more. "To all soldiers of the Concord, you have a choice. Stand with us against oppression or be complicit in your own destruction." The impact of her words resonated throughout the galaxy. As soldiers hesitated, the line between loyalty and rebellion blurred. Callan's face twisted in fury as she realized the grip of control was slipping. "Retreat!" she screamed, her authority fracturing under the weight of the uprising. But it was too late. The Exodus fired a final shot, piercing the Invictus's hull, igniting an explosion that illuminated the star-studded sky. As the flagship began to break apart, the remnants of the Concord's fleet scattered, chaos enveloping their ranks. With victory within grasp, Alara turned to her crew, their faces illuminated by the glow of the console. "We have shown them the strength of the Forsaken. Let this be a new beginning for all who seek freedom." As the galaxy bore witness to the downfall of an empire, the stars shone bright above, a testament to the courage of those who had risen from the ashes. The judgment of the stars had come, and humanity, once forsaken, now stood united, ready to reclaim their place in the cosmos.